What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. So excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell.
Because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
It's time to learn geography.
No! Want to hear a Micronesia joke?
No!
Too bad. Imagine a dog named Ray on a dinner date. When the bill came, he had to use his pawn pay, but then was chook and surprised because Ray was broke. Yep.
Alright, that's
Well,
4 strikes. You know the drill.
So worth it.
Hey.
Oh, and hey, Noah's back.
Hey.
Somebody gonna have to check on him. I don't know when he uploaded this one, but that one looked a little more. That effect looked a little more realer.
Yeah.
A little realer.
Good editing.
Good editing. There you go.
For the record, in this episode, I'm just going to refer to the country as Micronesia because the official title is too long, the Federated States of Micronesia. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, I love Pacific Island nations because they probably get the least amount of coverage in terms of global awareness, which means Geography Now gets to be a platform for the obscure. Plus, you know, it kind of adds to the Oceania playlist. First of all, the country lies in the sub-region of the Pacific Ocean known as Micronesia, which is obviously where the country gets its name from, which also includes the states of Palau, Nauru, parts of Kiribati, and the U.S. territories of Guam and the Northern Mariana Islands and Wake Island. The country is made up of 607 islands, sometimes collectively referred to as the Caroline Islands. These take up over 1 million square miles of oceanic territory in their exclusive economic zone. However, in land surface area, they only make up about 217 square miles. All the islands are divided into 4 states made up of island clusters. They are Yap, Chuuk, Pohnpei, not Pohnpei, Pohnpei. Oh, and don't forget this little straggler, Kapingamarangi, belongs to it. And finally, Little Kosrae, which is really only like one little island with a few small islets off its coast. It's the only state with no atolls. The capital, Palikir, is located on Pohnpei, the largest, highest, and most populous island in the entire nation. However, the largest city in itself is actually Ueno on the Chuuk Atoll. The country has 4 international airports, one for each of the states, the busiest ones being Pohnpei and Chuuk, whereas one domestic airport lies on Ulithi. There are also small airfields and airstrips located on various islands across the country for shipping and deliveries. Today they do kind of have a small dispute with Spain over that little straggler guy, Kapingamarangi. Apparently when the Spanish sold off their islands to the Germans, this little guy kind of wasn't part of the deal. Eventually just kind of de facto landed in Micronesia's claim. Otherwise, most of the urban centers are located on the large mountainous islands, 3 of which, Pohnpei, Chuuk, and Yap, host shipping harbors. If you look close to Chuuk's harbor, they kind of have a ship that failed. Anyway, just like we talked about in the Marshall Islands episode, Micronesia is also a compact of free association agreement state with the United States. Yada yada yada, you've heard it before.
No, I haven't. I'm a new subscriber. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, some people are new to this channel. Well, basically, in the quickest way I can summarize it. Alright, okay, I think we're kind of ready to be our own thing now. Woohoo!
Oh, but you know, I already built all these bases. We have all these cool trade deals, diplomatic agreements with other nations. You guys seem to like that spam stuff as well, and the burgers I introduced. I mean, do you really want to start from scratch?
I mean, yes, but I don't know, maybe we can kind of like keep this thing going, but also by relinquishing your official hold on us, so we kind of have like a nominal claim to independence.
Oh, Mikey, it's like you've been reading my diary.
And that's basically how it happened in the 80s. And speaking of which, some notable sites of the country might include Nan Mandol, the Yap Stones, Chuuk Lagoon, one of the world's biggest wartime ship graveyards, Tamilyog Trail, the Lelu and Menke ruins on Kosrae, the petroglyphs on Pohnpei, Japanese-era sites like the Old Lighthouse, the Nefo Cave, the Yap Art Gallery Studio, Yap's Living History Museum, and honestly, probably the coolest thing to do would just be walking around the streets of any village and finding a cool cafe or mom and pop shop. Just chill. You're in Micronesia. The entire country in itself is kind of a spectacle to be a part of, and especially when you notice the landscape. Which brings us to... Now, unlike some of their neighbors, Micronesia got lucky and snagged a few solid, fully formed mountainous islands, and when you have hills, you have an advantage. First of all, the country is spread across the western Pacific Ocean on a smaller subregion of the Greater Pacific Plate known as the Caroline Plate, formed by the underwater Sorrel Trough. Mount Nomnod on Pohnpei is the highest peak of the country, where the longest river, the Ladao, flows. Yap and the atolls around it are the only parts of the country that cross over the Philippine Plate, over the Yap Trench. The islands were basically formed from underwater volcanoes those that either partially or fully breached the surface, or both. The ones that had the edges breached became atolls. The ones that had the center breached became full-on islands. And then there was a third kind, which the center and a few edges were breached, which became lagoons. So there you go, Oceanic Geology 101. And there's the part where I take a triple shot of espresso break. That means making his triumphant return. You love him, my physical geography segment co-host, Noah. Yeah, you look a little different.
Then what you mean? The good news is the islands get quite a bit of rain, so fresh water is never too hard to come by. Most people collect it for daily use. The islands with mountains are able to harbor small rivers and creeks, Pohnpei alone having over 40, some creating beautiful waterfalls. Otherwise, you can hike at beautiful natural sites like the Sokes Rock or scuba dive in many spots like the Blue Hole. The country doesn't have a national animal, but it is a bird haven. Species like the true monarch, the Pohnpei lori, the coast red greater white-eye are all endemic to the islands. Economy-wise, the country mostly depends on agriculture and fishing. However, let's be honest, they only have about 100,000 people, so they come up with a great idea on how to capitalize off of their vast open ocean territory.
Hey, you have a lot of ocean.
Yeah.
Let's fish in it.
Yeah, so?
I want to go fish in it.
Pay up a couple $1 million and then we'll give you a seasonal license.
And that's how they subsidize a part of their GDP.
So-
Food-wise,
So far, it sounds like for a tour guide or someone that's visiting, you guys like waters, rivers,
Ocean.
waterfalls are like really good sightseeing and places to be, if I'm not mistaken. And they did mention some deep diving, which I don't know too many people just like want to go deep diving.
That's too much water for me.
Yeah. But other than that, the water culture is like real dope.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested in the people and the food.
yeah.
Ready to see
We're
it.
about to get into the food. Hold
get the
on.
typical island staples, taru, breadfruit, bananas, and of course, pretty much any kind of fish they can catch will be on the menu. Don't be surprised to find betel nuts everywhere, a sort of chewing tobacco substitute that people on all islands use. Sakao is a popular drink, especially on Pohnpei. It has relaxing effects. It is made from squeezing the roots of the pepper shrub in the inner bark of a hibiscus tree. Kind of like the kava drink we talked about in the Fiji episode. It's a great social drink that locals enjoy at casual get-togethers. And that brings us to...
You know, when you say hibiscus or hibiscus, I ain't really hear that word before until I started drinking it. Like, they have a hibiscus lemon drink that I really, really enjoy. It's pretty good, but like it's so Caribbean, like such a vibe.
Yeah,
it's like
tropical.
a refreshing tropical drink.
Yeah, well, I knew of it because of smoothies when I worked
Don't
at
they
a smoothie place.
Panera? No, not Panera.
Smoothie King.
Smoothie King has it.
They had it. I don't
Yeah,
know
it
if they
is.
still
It
have
is
it.
Panera bread. They have hibiscus
Oh,
drinks
yeah.
as well.
Panera too, yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't be. Yeah, y'all get it. Y'all get it.
It's refreshing.
It is. Yeah.
Thank you, Noah. Follow him on Instagram. Alright, so if you're new to this channel, one thing you'll have to learn is when it comes to ocean people, there's a difference between Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia.
Right.
Micronesians are interesting because it's kind of like each island has its own story and tradition. It's like if you met your cousin once and didn't see them again for 15 years, they'd probably change a lot, but you'd still be family. First of all, the country has about 105,000 people and has about a 3% birth rate. The majority of the country is ethnically Micronesian, however split up into 4 distinct ethno-linguistic groups. About half of the population are Chukis, a quarter are Pohnpeian, 10% Yapis and Outer Yapis, about 6% Kosraean, and the rest of the country is made up of other groups, mostly Americans, Asians, and Polynesians. They use the American dollar as their currency, they use the types A, B plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. However, some of their cars might have steering wheels on the right side, so it's kind of weird. English is the official language used between all peoples, but there are 8 other recognized indigenous languages spoken throughout the islands, including 2 Polynesian languages spoken by the people on Nuku'oro and Kapingamarangi. The Micronesian languages are all related, however some of the words are completely unintelligible. For example, for hello you have Mogetin, Ran Alim, Kaselelia, Len Wo. Yeah, they don't even sound anything alike, and each one has less than 50,000 speakers, so it shows how far the cousins can change when you're separated by thousands of miles of water for centuries. Culturally speaking, the people here come from a long yet mysterious line of chiefdoms, clans, traditions, and customs mostly rooted in oral tradition passed down through generations. There's the legend of the twin sorcerers that created Nan Madol. Supposedly they had the help of a flying dragon, and that's how the first dynasty was supposedly started. Not only that, but on Yap, the residents literally used these huge stone discs known as rye stones as their currency. Technically the largest currency in the world. About 65,000 of them can be found all over the islands. You can also find traditional meeting houses called Pe'ebai and Falu. They also use canoes with plated leaf sails. The Chuk Islands has a tradition of love sticks that they kind of use for dating. The man is supposed to poke his crush, and if she accepts, she's supposed to grab the sharp stick and pull him in. Essentially though, you see a lot of remnants of the former colonizers in their society. For example, no shop.
That was a very random one. I did not. Okay.
They speak English with an American accent and generally keep up with American media and trends. They love rice too, even though it doesn't grow there. It was introduced from various nations, especially the Japanese. Most Micronesians, at about 97%, are Christians, introduced mostly through the Americans, Germans, and Spanish. About half of them are Protestant, half are Catholic. The more west you go, closer to the Philippines, it becomes more Catholic. The more east, it becomes more Protestant. Speaking of the introduction of outside influences, history. Ancient Austronesian people, probably from Southeast Asia, sailed in. Chieftain-based societies established. The Yap people developed quite a unique economic and religious culture. Nanmadol is built, starting the Settler dynasty. Portuguese come by, but they don't really care too much. The Spanish pass by and care very much. They hold on to it and make it part of the Spanish East Indies. They built the town of Colonia on Pompeii. The Spanish-American War caused Spain to sell the islands to Germany. Then it became German New Guinea. World War I, the Japanese come in and take it. World War II, Operation Hailstone. The UN agrees that the US should administer the islands as a trust territory. Yap, Truk, Pompeii, and Kosrae agreed to join up and create a constitution for independence. Then they all signed the Compact of Free Association with the US in 1986. Compact renewed in 2004. And here we are today. Some notable people who are either Micronesian or from the Federated States of Micronesia might include people like Toshio Nakayama, James H. Newman, Leo Falcam, Deborah Daniel, Jesse Che Mori, Orphan Ozeki, Ralinda, Manuel Mingenfeld, Michael Jones McKean, Mitra Wendelin, and Kirsten Hadley. To be honest, it was a little difficult to find some of those people. I had to search Micronesian message boards. I don't know, if you just so happen to be a Micronesian person watching this video, please feel free to revise that list if you want. Anyway, friend zone. Since independence...
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's
Definitely
their friends?
the U.S.
Yeah. And
100%.
I would think Australia
Okay.
as well, since it's the next biggest country nearby.
Okay.
That's all I would say. Somewhere in Asia.
In the 80s, Micronesia has built up a lot of international ties. They have ties to over 80 countries and 4 permanent embassies in China, Fiji, Japan, and the US. For one, China and India have both kind of competed to see who can cozy up to the islands more. China has built things like a gymnasium, they donated police cars, and built the giant clam farm on Kosrae. India has given them farming machinery and offers scholarship grants. Of course, the USA is the biggest trade partner and supporter of overall infrastructure and development. As part of the Compact Association, Micronesians have access to US services like postal and communications. They can move about freely, working and living in each other's countries. Micronesians are even allowed to serve in the US military. However, they don't share the same benefits as US citizen military personnel. Micronesia is part of the Nauru Agreement, a union of 8 signatories in Oceania that control nearly a third of the world's tuna supply. They regulate fishing laws and manage business together. Of these nations, of course, their closest friends would probably be their Micronesian siblings, the Marshall Islands and Palau. These two are also Compact Association Agreement members with the US. Out of these two, though, Micronesia might be a little bit closer to Palau. They have a little closer history. Those Yap stones were actually mined and transported from Palau. They love each other's music, and whenever they get the chance to see each other, it's like family reunion all over again. But the Marshall Islands are invited too. In conclusion, the Federated States of Micronesia are kind of like the 4 musketeer cousins that hadn't seen each other in a long time. They could barely speak to each other, but somehow they came together in 1986 and showed the world that an island culture can thrive well into the new era. Stay tuned! Moldova is coming up.
Y'all make sure I check his channel out. I feel like so much more could be learned about them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You guys got to let us in on more information, more videos if there are any that y'all want us to react to. And about the love sticks, I wouldn't be afraid. It would be you.
Why me?
You don't want to have to pull me in when I poke you.
Okay. All right.
With my stick.
Okay. I was going back to what exactly was said in the video.
Yeah,
okay.
you have to remember they have a love stick that they design and they poke the girl that they want, and if she accepts, she pulls him in. So it sounds like with the poking, she has to.
That's a little brutal. All right.
More to learn as you go. More to learn.
It's interesting to see the different cultures. You know, although they're considered one, they're kind of separated by the ocean.
And sounds like they all get along well. Because he didn't mention anything about feud.
Right.
So that's a good thing.
Right. So, yes, send us the videos. All right. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Be sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.